let's not pick and choose. Let's live it by the book. And honestly, I don't see myself getting married. I choose not to, because I was raised in an extreme Christian family. Let me see that. I was raised in an extreme Christian family, and I feel like, I do feel like it's wrong in some ways, but I also feel like, hey, but, you know, I'm not going around telling you what you can and cannot do, so why should people who are not of the gay community make that choice?
God is going to accept you for whatever, so religion or no religion, it's up to you what you want, in my eye. Anybody should be able to marry whoever they want. So if you fought for marriage rights, that means for anyone. It doesn't matter if it's a woman marrying a woman or a man marrying a man or a man and a woman. It's still a marriage.
So if you're a gay American or TV talking head, are you still blaming blacks? Well, probably, since many people are really hard-headed and always look for someone else to blame for their own problems. You have to look pretty hard for a Nubian perspective in mainstream media on the issue of gay marriage, as the aforementioned concept in general does not exist. But Jasmine Canick wrote one of the best columns I've read on the subject. Canick, who is a lesbian, wrote in the Los Angeles Times that Nubians have much bigger concerns, like being harassed by police for no reason, poverty, and undereducation, to even worry about an issue like gay marriage. She also said the No on Proposition 8 campaign in California was poorly organized and would have fared much better if the people in charge didn't completely discount the black vote prior to the election. National Public Radio had Canick on as a guest a few weeks ago to talk about the column.
What really bothered me the most was that after the election, all of the anger turned towards African Americans from the gay community, as if single-handedly African American voters were the reason why Proposition 8 passed. And you have to remember, when you think about the movement for marriage for gays and lesbians, the face of that movement has always been white gays and lesbians. At the end of the day, yes, they're gay and lesbian, and yes, you know, there's an issue of inequality as it relates to marriage. But if it were 1955, they would still be able to go into any restroom. They'd still be able to go whatever school they wanted to. And we weren't. And even me as a lesbian, I would not have been able to. So I think we need to move away from that argument, at least where it relates to African Americans, because it's clear that it does not work.
Ms. Canick touched on one of the reasons I believe Proposition 8 failed in a very liberal, gay-friendly state like California. She mentioned how the gay community placed all the blame on black voters. This could be the most asinine assertion ever made by any political constituency. Gay activists figured because they had the backing of the NAACP.
It just seems to be something right to do. It seems to me that the right to be married is a civil right. And I believe civil rights ought to be extended to everybody. Who ought not have these rights? What category of people ought not have these rights? I can't think of one. I've been married twice, and I know what the benefits are, the economic benefits are to a couple. And I don't want to shut other people off from these benefits.
Once we present this in the right way and we do the education that we should do, I'm not worried at all, because African Americans believe in justice.
They assumed this would get them a large percentage of the so-called black vote. First, let's break down the organization gay rights advocates align themselves with to get the so-called black vote. The NAACP, that's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Colored people? Well, while you're at it, will you bring me a beer from the ice box so I can continue playing my Atari 2600 uninterrupted? Then let's watch a movie on my Betamax. Until the NAACP changes that goofy name, with all due respect to founder Mr. W.E.B. Du Bois, I tune them out, apparently just like a vast majority of Nubians did this past election. It was just a matter of time before California voters banned gay marriage, and I'm not just making some grand baseless statement either. Here is a map of the United States in 1998. The pink states are ones with constitutional bans on gay marriage. According to the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life, the Sarah Palin state, Alaska, in relative anonymity, was the only state in the Union to have a constitutional ban on gay marriages in 1998. In 2000, Nebraska followed suit. Then in 2002, Nevada became only the third U.S. state to ban gay marriage by way of a constitutional amendment. Everything would change in 2003 when the state of Massachusetts, on November 23rd, legalized marriage between same-sex couples. The Bay State became the first in U.S. history to legalize gay marriage following a ruling by the Massachusetts Supreme Court in the case of Goodridge versus the Department of Public Health. Magnifying the absurdity of the gay community's assertion that blacks caused Proposition 8 to pass in California, Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick strengthened gay marriage rights in his state when he signed a bill in July allowing out-of-state couples to wed in Massachusetts as well. I'll bring back the 2002 map for frame of reference, as a chain reaction would happen from this point on. 1 year after Massachusetts legalized gay marriage, our constitutional ban map went from this to this in 2004. 13 states passed amendments banning same-sex marriage, seemingly in a proactive manner after Massachusetts set a precedent other states did not want to follow. Many of the bans passed by 60+% margins, with Oregon, a state gay rights activists had hoped would vote in their way, passed its ban with 58% of the vote. 2005 would see Texas and Kansas amend their constitutions banning gay marriage, but it was the 2006 midterm elections when 8 more states banned gay marriage. Then, of course, in 2008, California, Arizona, and Florida joined what has become a nationwide phenomenon. This, again, according to the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life, brings the national total to 29 states banning gay marriage by way of constitutional amendments. This total, however, does not include the 15 additional states with statutes barring gay marriage. Only 6 states have neither a statute nor a constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage. And this is black people's fault? It's extremely rare for 44 of 50 U.S. states to agree on anything, especially with the obvious fundamental differences between the people of different regions. Remember, there were only 3 states with gay marriage bans prior to the Massachusetts decision in 2003. Since then, 26 more states have followed suit. There is only one group to blame, and it is certainly not Nubians for this dramatic change of events. The NAACP got one thing right, and that is the fact that Nubians do believe in civil rights for all. People who are born blind, born paralyzed, or become paralyzed, people who are Asian, Eastern European, etc., Nubians will likely always, for the most part, support anyone who is denied fundamental human rights. The dilemma with the gay community is this.
Your sexuality is an immutable characteristic. It's something you're born with. You don't say, hey, I think I'll be gay. You are gay when you're born, or you're not gay.
What do I know about sex at 2 years old?
Right.
And I said, oh, that's my boyfriend. And my sister says, no, it's not. You're supposed to like girls. And I said, my mom said, I broke down in tears. And I was like, no, I'm not. I can like who I want. This is at 2 years old.
This is one of those issues where you sit on one side of the fence and there's no changing your mind, regardless of what anybody says. This may sound wishy-washy, but I actually agree with both sides in a roundabout sort of fashion. I do think someone can be born gay, but I don't believe someone can be naturally born gay. Confused yet? I spoke with Dr. Janet Smith back in February of 2007 after a lecture she gave at Arizona State University. The author, professor, and chair of life issues at Sacred Heart Major Seminary in Detroit spoke about the power of birth control pills and their subsequent effect on women as it pertains to the men they are dating.
The physiology is that men and women are attracted to each other through hormones. They're called pheromones. And again, those are transmitted through the sense of smell. And that when women are using contraceptives, they have different hormones in their bodies than their natural hormones. They have hormones that make their body actually think it's pregnant. And so they're not being, that there really is chemistry between human beings, that some human beings are just wildly attracted to each other and they're not attracted to others. But those women don't have those chemicals in their body when they're taking the contraceptives. So when they go off it, their natural hormones kick in, and they say, well, this isn't, I'm not as attracted to this guy. I'm attracted to that guy. We click. It's a dangerous thing then to fool around with that.